What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be taking a quick peek over here at the Bitcoin price chart, which sits at 49,728, along with the altcoin market, which is doing some interesting behavior here as it's threatening to try to break out right now. As you can see on the right side of my screen, everything is green. If you go onto Twitter, everybody is happy because Bitcoin hit $50,000 on the button earlier this morning. Now, of course, Bitcoin still sits over here within the retracement levels, but today was a move above the 618 retracement level, still leaving that 702 sitting a few $1,000s higher. But with this move this morning, we're finally seeing some action over here in the altcoin market. One place we can really see that is if we look over there at others, which is the altcoin market excluding the top 10. This is the range that we've been in since early December. So we've really just bounced up and down this range for 2 months after having an A, B, C correction through here in 2024. Just a few moments ago, I can put us on the 1 minute chart, just a few minutes ago, clearing through that last retracement level right there, the 786 retracement, and now gaining some steam over here in the altcoin market this morning. Total 3 is through all retracements. Total 2 is through all retracements. And total 2, which is the entire altcoin market, excluding Bitcoin, and in this circumstance, excluding stablecoins like USDT, USDC, and DAI, also through all retracement levels. If you caught my video last week, we were talking about Wyckoff accumulation being in the sign of strength phase, similar to how gold had its sign of strength phase after escaping its Wyckoff accumulation, being on top of the preliminary support, just as we've done over here for the altcoin market. And now we're starting to see some optimistic signs that definitely have my eyes open. Now, as for Bitcoin, of course, I still sit here and say, this is the retracement level throughout all of 2022 and 2023. This is where we said we were heading back to. Now that we've gotten here, of course, you look around, everybody's euphoric, everybody's bullish. Anytime it moves up 2%, it gets hooted and hollered about over there on Twitter. If you dare go onto Twitter and post, hey, it's time to be concerned, you would definitely get chastised right now. Unlike how that is really the type of content that people gravitated to through 22 and 23. As we sit here, all eyes, of course, are on whether or not Bitcoin is going to stall out here into the retracement levels. While I did enjoy a nice 200% rise there for Bitcoin, of course, all the buys that I have made down in here have been sold in here as I wait to see how Bitcoin is going to react into the retracement levels. Things I'm keeping my eyes on are to see if we start having these distribution structures start to form out in here. This initial rejection that we've had in here is very similar to an initial rejection that we've had. And then we go into a longer distribution. If you recall also, there was lots of euphoria in this moment as well. So we'll keep a close eye on it. But if we add things like the altcoin market to see when these things really took off, if we do see distribution really start to kick in a little bit more in here for Bitcoin at these levels, that was really the phase where things really started to get taken off and going. So just like in here where you set this new high, you can see that the altcoin market does shift up again. However, if there becomes a correction in here like this, it was really that next leg into that next peak of distribution that really got the thing going. Retracement continues going, right? Right now, that still seems to be the most optimistic scenario that I can see on here right now. Of course, everybody would love for it to just break out into new all-time highs and just get ripping and roaring. I would not complain with that at all. History would indicate that would be an absolutely insane moment for the altcoin market if that were to happen. However, as we've shown many times in here, anytime we have come off the lows for Bitcoin, those retracement levels have offered serious problems in here. So long as we are still sitting at these retracement levels, I am going to remain very cautious when it comes to actual Bitcoin in here. I do understand being a super mega bull, posting a YouTube video with my mouth wide open saying, oh, new all-time highs would be the confirmation bias that people would seek right now, especially considering we were unwavering throughout all of this. However, this has always been the thoughts, getting back into these levels. This is where the concern is for Bitcoin in itself. still keeping those eyes real close to see if we do distribution and if distribution continues in here. There are certain things that I'll be looking for to confirm it and start really screaming that it is distribution, so long as a black swan doesn't hit and we do just go straight on down. But it is going to be watching that altcoin market and how it behaves in here from what we're doing right now, and to see how these reactions happen and what Bitcoin's price action starts looking like right here, right now. What we can see in this distribution was that the altcoin market did leave its range to backtest it, which would be something more of like this, right? Which would not be anything impressive from where we are right now to just kind of doing that. Meanwhile, if Bitcoin comes back in here during that time, and then once Bitcoin starts moving, this altcoin market just starts rallying out of here, that will be a telltale sign. But otherwise, we do have optimistic things that have happened this morning over here in the altcoin market. Bitcoin, still, it's that concern because it's there in those retracement levels. But to see these altcoin market caps leaving those last retracement levels behind, no matter which ones we look at, and to even get total market cap of the entire market poking above those levels, all optimistic things. The things we're still just keeping our eyes on over here on this YouTube channel are these retracement levels and all the euphoria that is kicking in for Bitcoin while we're back at them. And it's one of those behaviors that we discussed all throughout here, is that there would become that retail euphoria happening again for Bitcoin once we got back to the retracement levels. And I've had conversations with other people, and it's like, if you even thought about going on to Twitter right now and saying, hey, I think Bitcoin could be topping out, you would just get assaulted in half of a second for considering to do it, which just shows that, retail sentiment has totally shifted. It's gone fully long on Bitcoin. It's not necessarily a bad thing. When it comes to the remainder of the market, it means that conviction is there, risk taking is there, wanting to get gains and yield is there, and there's just no worries, right? The wall of worry is being ripped down. So those are all positive elements, but still just needing to be really mindful of distribution phases happening in here and how this altcoin market reacts in there. Otherwise, it's really acting just like it should into that next phase of distribution happening for Bitcoin. So I got it. This is not the video of me coming on here and saying Bitcoin in breakout. Hey, look, 50K. Oh, I got to put that on my thumbnail, I guess. Bitcoin 50K. But just like at the lows, right? Remaining calm and not being stuck in that herd mentality of where everybody's screaming that we're going lower, but kind of keeping that cool head in here to say, hey, are we just kind of doing one of these things happening in here? And it's very possible that we are, right? This is not the straight line to the moon, and it's a more complicated scenario than people would think. But we absolutely had just like this, right? Back in 2021, sentiment was very similar. But otherwise, as for the market and how it's behaving right now, hey, man, can't get mad at that. Can't get mad at total getting into a new high. Can't get mad at these retraces breaking out. So things are looking good, but don't be surprised if we do actually see corrections start to emerge here in Bitcoin and it just kind of keeps shuffling itself sideways in here, because it did act very similar to just that. Straight line up, super exciting after pulling straight down in here, taking out a new daily low in here. It goes right back in distribution. But this was the actual phase where when this moment was happening, that altcoin market did go on and exceed. And then it was the next two where the altcoin market really, really ripped up throughout there. So hopefully that's the phase that we're going into right now. I'm not going to whine and complain if Bitcoin breaks out. I'm just not going to be blindsided by where we're at. We're at the retracement levels. You guys know it. But I wanted to point out we're seeing some really nice things start to happen here throughout the market in the altcoin market. But I wanted to show the things that I'm seeing happening throughout the market right now in regards to altcoin market getting out, Bitcoin getting out, being mindful of this type of behavior in here, and that even if there's not some huge break that comes for the altcoin market right now, but instead just kind of hovers like that, it would actually be beyond this point where things would get exciting after an ABC correction happening in here for Bitcoin afterwards. So hopefully that's the case. That's really kind of the most bullish case I can come up with right now, outside of saying, if it gets through all the retracement levels, if Bitcoin gets through all the retracement levels, buckle up. Maybe we're in for something absolutely nuts. But it's not like my base case right now, right? This is the thing that I'm really watching for, how we're going to distribute at the retracement levels. But welcome to $50,000 Bitcoin. 1 year ago thought to never be possible that we could get back here. Right now, thought that it could never stop here, right? But a nice sight to see over here for the altcoin market as we finally get some movement going on over here. So I thought I'd check in with you guys. It's the beginning of the week, give you my thoughts, give you the things that I see, how I'm looking at the market right now. And that I do see optimistic signs happening over here, but taking it into the context of where we're at and how I'm looking at all of it without looking at it through the spectrum of being like Bitcoin's going to rally and shoot through the moon. But how do you actually get that type of rally to happen there throughout the altcoin market without Bitcoin doing something like that, right? How do you get those altcoins to actually rally if Bitcoin is going to be stalling out here into the retracement levels and showing you how that has happened before? This is the lens that I'm looking at the market through right now. If things change, we'd address it at the time. But otherwise, these are all great structures for what we're looking for and great price behavior to have for the start of our week. So hip, hip, hooray. Let's go. We are reaching the middle of the week, so I will be publishing another newsletter over here on Substack, which is blockchainbacker.substack.com. As you guys should all know, that stock market is very high. And the next one, we'll be looking at signals that were present throughout history that gave confirmation of a top coming in. All eyes on it on whether or not this stock market is going to stop here where we were for the roaring 20s, for the 4.236 extension. What it was that we saw in the past that caused those things, or at least gave the signals that the tops were happening in broader moves. And that will be published later this week over here on Substack. So if you go subscribe over here, you can check out all the past ones that we've done on developer activity, user activity, percentage drawdowns, all back testing the differences between the 2017 market versus the 2021 market and the things that mattered. A lot of research and data has been provided in these, along with audio recordings that I personally record, where I'll read them to you and go over the charts and the graphics in there as well. Of course, you can check out bcbacker.com over here for over 40 videos and over 11 hours of content from me, teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, along with effective patterns, Wyckoff accumulation and distribution, Elliott wave theory, the historical behavior of the market, and a lot of other data that was important, like developer activity, why percentages matter, tokenomics and the market cap, crowd behavior, and emotional management. There's also downloadable PDFs in here to supplement a lot of these sections in here that you can print out or save to your hard drive. Check it out over here on bcbacker.com. There are links in the description of each of my videos and live streams to bcbacker.com and to my newsletter, blockchainbacker.substack.com, including in this video that you're watching right now. On a side note, I will also be speaking at the XRP Gold Coast 2024, which is in Australia from March 22nd through 24th. I went ahead and included a link to this as well in the description of the video to xrpgoldcoast2024.com. This should be a lot of fun. Otherwise, I'll catch you again soon. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.